We've got everybody here at this time who wants to be here. I'll call the meeting to order. Any dissent on that?
No.
No? All right. That said, let's start with the agenda. Again, thank you to the Legion for allowing us to use the room. Once again, we have the minutes for the last meeting. I just have yeah, thank you, from the last meeting. And we're all set with this now.
I'll make a motion to be accepted as submitted.
I'll second it.
Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously carried. That is for the meeting last. Minutes to
May
29.
29.
29. Okay, moving on. The resignation of Meredith. Meredith, last name again? Hoyt has been with the district for quite some period of time. My understanding is she found a new job at better pay, and we wish her the best and like to thank her formally for her service. Appreciate it. Any comments from the board?
We would add that a recruitment or replacement is underway.
Letter to Wade Helm.
Wade Pelham asked for a designation of who would be the designated operator of the Rollinsford water system pursuant to regulation ENV DW 50224. And I have the letter here framed, and all we have to do is sign it and send it off to him.
Correct. This is what he sent us the email on, correct?
You can't send it by as an
No,
attachment. What?
He sent this as
Yes.
email to us the other day.
If you look underneath, you'll see the original correspondence.
Yep. I'm familiar with it.
This is supposed to be a copy.
That's a copy.
Yes.
Just one page now. Okay. We'll have to sign.
Ready? Oops, this one trimmed off the bottom.
We didn't need to sign
That
this
one.
one.
This will go with the minutes, Kate, when you have a chance. Folding up the letter now,
Take your time.
and placing it in a stamped envelope addressed to him.
Good. Yeah.
What I do. Okay?
Hey. Next on the agenda, review of new invoices and purchase orders.
These are new, not pending ones, new ones.
None pending? No?
We do understand you have checks to be signed.
That's correct.
Okay, can we see them,
Let's
please?
do that now.
Right.
We'll get started on the other side. So we're not tying the time here. Give me a stack of your stuff. Take a
Here,
stack.
you take a look at that. Okay, this is chemicals, this is good. Self-storage sewer. Oh, yeah.
We're just signing here, correct?
Yeah,
Authorize
we're just
signature.
signing. This one, 'cause I know what this is. No, no, you don't have
Yeah,
to.
sign that one.
Yeah, so put that in the done stack. Here, have another one.
Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, oh, no, yeah. Some of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That it?
That's it.
Do you want to see these?
So the one-
Take a quick look at it. treasurer's report and budget to date. Everybody's got a copy.
That's delinquencies.
Oh, my bad.
This is the budget.
Wrong one. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, why is there so much?
Because
Okay.
That's what we're owed.
I know.
That's what we got.
I'm seeing how much we're owed. I was like, wow. All the red is owed. Okay. Ending balance, 531 is 139, 149.70. For the bank balance, deposits since then have been $4,309.58. Withdrawals since 531. Vendor checks $676.50, and payroll fees $8,801.87. Current balance is $33,991. Public de-
133,000.
One, yes, my
Sorry.
bad. My bad, no, my bad. And public investment deposit pool is 311,487.36. So we've got 312,000 roughly in that. Okay. Any questions on that? Comments on that?
You accept it as read.
Although technically it's not a balance sheet, it's a, I guess we would call it a cash report. Not a big deal.
It keeps us apprised of what we're spending.
Yes, I think now we need to look at the budget.
Yes, I was going to ask about that. Is that next on the, yeah, it's next. Do the treasurer's report. Okay,
You have this?
yes, here,
Okay.
see? It's just in the right one, that's all.
I'd just like to, no, that's the delinquency report again. You're looking for this, but without the handwriting. Let's try this.
Jesus,
Here, have one.
what a mess. Here we go. All right,
For water, some of the expenses for June were included, but if we are at 41% of the year, which would be May out of 12 months, through May, we spent 37% of our budget, slightly less than absolute. And the same with sewer. If you look just at May, we've spent 35% of our budget.
Yep.
Which is actually good, very, very good. Not ridiculously low and not ridiculously high, which is the way you want it.
no changes from the one we got in the email.
No, that is the one from the email.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
All right. Any discussion on that? Glenn?
No, no, you may
No,
Okay.
accept it as read, I guess.
Accepted as read, vote on it?
yes.
Favor? Aye.
Accepted.
Okay. All right, clerk's delinquent account.
Now, some of these are people who they were supposed to pay by April 1st, January, February, March, April 30th,
For,
first quarter.
usually it's the first month, so the bills went out the first of January, then it's the end of January.
He's talking about years it would have gone out like right in the beginning of April based on readings from January through.
And they would be due April 30th, because
Yes.
they're due in 30 days.
Right,
Okay. And those were the ones that got mangled by the post office.
exactly, yes.
Yes. Okay. So some of these who are in current balance but have an amount due, they may need a short letter or postcard saying, if you didn't get your bill in the mail because they got mangled, you owe X. And that's something we've got to work on. But some of these are really out there. Does anybody know about Jesse Edelman by any chance?
Oh, no, I was thinking it was Maurice there.
No,
Maurice is dead, that's why he hasn't paid his bill.
yes,
Bit of a problem there.
well, despite what we can do.
Now, question, you're more experienced at that than I. Do we put an attachment on that piece of property? That's
What
the
we-
normal course of event in real estate.
If they're selling the property, we ought to alert the real estate agent that it has to be paid. Once they know that, they can't go to the closing without satisfying the prior debt.
Okay.
If they ignore us, you bet your life, we'll slap a tax on them.
Okay,
But
that's,
in most cases,
that's the
it's,
normal, yeah, usually
Yeah.
they wanna pay it off in some
Right.
ways. Question, go ahead.
No, the title company did contact me yesterday regarding
Oh,
it,
okay.
so we
Finally.
haven't sent a bill, so I
Perfect.
don't know.
Yeah.
It's only been 24 hours.
right, so we're gonna get our money. It's been out there a while, but he's been not with us for a while. Anything you know about Jesse Edelman?
Which
Edelman?
one's that?
Edelman?
Good.
354. No, excuse me, wrong one.
A shut-off notice was sent 5/29, has he been shut off?
No, I don't know why that puts it on there. I don't actively put that note on
Says
there.
shut-off notice, final notice was sent 5/29.
Okay,
Is he still getting water?
currently.
Well, I think we need to
Shut
give
it
him
off.
one last time.
Oh, wait, it was 5/29.
The rest of them seem to be fairly current. KAB Realty, this has always been a problem, and it's always going to be a problem.
That's the 4 unit down the street there, isn't
Corner of Third and South,
it? Okay.
the White House with the porch.
Yep.
They tend not to pay their water bill until they're told they're about to get shut off. Then they pay it.
We've got, by my reading, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not counting the one that says they're gonna pay. 6 shut off, no, 7 shut off notices.
Right. What is the current experience when you send a shut-off notice? How long after that do they get cranked?
I think our rules are 12 days after the thing gets sent out. I have to double check to be precise.
Do we know if any of these have tenants? Because as you know, we have to alert the tenant.
I have to double check, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, that KAB Realty.
KAB Realty, yeah, obviously.
Some of them, okay. All right. And the grand total is actually not too bad, considering. I mean, the stuff that's over a quarter is like $620, not even $600. So, and some of the ones that are like pennies, we'll just reverse those. But this has always been a problem. Some of these are chronics.
St. Mary's Church,
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Atlantic House in
I
Santa
thought this one
Cruz.
was.
Yeah, I figured that.
There's some here called customer.
Interesting.
Walter Bell, we know all about him. You have to send them, you have to notify the tenants because he just doesn't pay the bill until someone goes and posts the notice on his tenant's door, then they start paying attention.
Which house is that?
Right behind Community Market, the Friendly Market,
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else?
the Gray House. So, we're keeping up with it.
Okay.
There's nothing like having
Big wrench.
a big wrench. You don't have to do a heck of a lot to get their attention.
That's a good report, thank you. Review and, any discussion on this before we move on?
No.
You need to
I think
vote
we've
on
dis-
anything? I think we've
No.
discussed it to Harold. All right, let's move on. Review and disposition of pending purchase orders.
I believe there's one,
There's two,
Two.
3, 4 and 5, I think it is, with the Lutz pumps.
okay? What's your pleasure?
For approving.
I agree.
So it's a Lutz pump 1 and then the Lutz pump that was 2 Lutz pumps.
Yeah, one's water, the single is for the wastewater treatment plant, the double is for the, wells. One of
Okay,
each
so
well.
we're really talking about 3 Lutz pumps spread over 2 purchase orders.
That's right.
Correct.
Okay, and you're recommending?
Yes, that they, go ahead first.
Okay, I think you researched this exhaustively,
Yes,
so I'm going to say yes. And I think Bob is saying yes.
yes, all three
Okay.
agree.
We'll need a copy of those purchase orders so that we can sign for them. But I can't find it now. It's here. I know it is. There was this thing. Some of you have seen this before. This was a thing sent out by John Jackman
Oh, yeah.
about the items that were capital. Yeah, I know, I have the same
Damn.
one.
I have glasses, but you won't read that. Whew, that's small.
I was gonna borrow a friend's scanning electron microscope for this.
The more important question, you have a friend?
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Quinn. The priority that was put in here was essentially the pump galley.
Correct.
But given the recent history, I think we need to talk more about Porter-Well. And we did pass a warrant article for, I believe it was $30,000 at the annual meeting. And I think, given that we really ought to be using Porter-Well more than we are now, well, more than we were, I think we need to take a look and see if we can shift the priority to put Porter-Well higher as a priority. But I would really, really, really like to see a more detailed explanation of what's going into that, rather than, it's gonna cost about $30,000. So if we could get a study done or a engineering report on what it's going to take, but there's one thing I'm personally going to be rather insistent on, and that is no Wi-Fi. It's gotta be hardwired. Because the last thing we need is some bored 14-year-old in Eastern Europe cracking our Wi-Fi system and then dumping chemicals into the drinking supply. Hardwired isn't an absolute guarantee, but it does improve security. And since we can't afford DoD levels of security for Wi-Fi, I think we have to factor in hardwiring.
Discussion on that?
We have a report, right?
We don't have a detailed report. We're gonna have some things, but I wanna see a detailed report.
Yeah,
We're gonna need this piece of equipment and this piece of equipment, and it's gonna take this to install it.
I haven't seen any other than the drawing, the sheet of the drawing was provided by Ray.
Yeah.
About anything else White Pierce has done. I haven't seen a
Well-
report from them at all for anything.
I don't know if it's even Wright Pierce. It's somebody, we've gotta have something that says, we need the following pieces of equipment,
Okay.
we need the following installation procedures, we need the following contracted services. That's what we need.
I understand Wright Pierce did the study and made recommendations for the wells.
If
That's
we haven't
what-
got
that's
a
what
copy,
I'm
I
saying.
haven't seen a copy of that either.
I don't know that there's necessarily an engineering study. I think they said, you need to pay attention to this, and it's gonna cost you about $30,000.
Well, I'd like to look at what Wright Pierce has got before we do it,
All right,
okay? Then we can decide what we're gonna do.
okay.
I think Ray had something to bring up about it. What do you got?
Yeah, so we gotta keep in mind that Wright Pierce has to finalize the asset management grant the study grant
That started when?
started last year.
January.
So that, the final document or the rough draft document was forwarded to myself and Vern. I don't know if everybody was included. But what needs to happen is we need to look at that and we need to make recommendations so that they can provide their final report. And in that asset management study, there's gonna be recommendations for Porter-Well specific.
I absolutely agree, yes. I can't remember where in the thousands of emails I've been getting lately, where it is.
So the upgrades that we're budgeting for were based on the preliminary report that was put
That's
out?
correct.
Well, we
And
need
this final
something,
report's gonna have more detail.
Before we go any further on that, we need that report, because we've got John's report.
Final.
but the final,
well, this is John's,
yeah, I know, I've got the
which
other
is
one that
pretty
he
much
gave
a,
us.
huh?
I've got the other one that he gave us in the day, but it was readable,
Right.
that's not relevant.
That's,
I mean,
I
that's
need
still
more
open.
details.
Yeah.
But I think Porter Wells has gotta be moved up in its priority
Mm-hmm.
list. And that's my
We
position.
discussed Porter Well a little further in terms of moving up in the priority list.
Let's get some details before we do that.
Okay,
You know, we're talking about what we don't know, because we don't have their report, so
okay.
without the report, it's little sense. Okay,
Okay.
and so this doesn't need it or it doesn't need it, I think we need to get, they've already paid for this report, and they've been at it a year, you say?
Yeah,
They had a year to complete it, and this is the part of the process, they gathered
When's
their
the year up on
information.
this? Do you know?
They need to present the final report within the next few weeks.
Okay.
And they have emailed the
Let's kick,
commissioners.
let's kick this down the road until
to-
we find out, because
They
what
need
we've got
your
is working
assistance and
now.
your participation to be able to wrap that up.
First of credit is now.
okay. I
Yours
will
has
send,
been emailed.
All right, go ahead.
I will send an email to Chris Bird saying, we understand you need to do a presentation. Can you send us a précis, a summary, the materials you're going to present, so we can review them before you do your actual in-person presentation?
What I'm saying is that's already been done. You've received that.
I
I haven't got it.
haven't
I
got it.
don't,
No,
let me
I
say I
can't
can't
find it.
So,
Well, I
So
can
this
send
is,
it to
again-
you.
okay,
And
this is
forward
not
that.
getting into discussion. We got our answer. That's where we're going. Let's go.
But the question about Porter Well being moved up in priority,
Okay.
can you clarify the reason why?
So that we can use both wells to their maximum without having to have someone at Porter Well all the time constantly monitoring water quality, which is, I believe, the purpose of this upgrade.
It's part of the process of the upgrade. You also received my letter that I sent to the state discussing the PPV of General Sullivan, and understand that we did not
Okay,
exceed.
we're not rehashing all this crap here.
That- no,
Okay.
Well, it's not crap, it's actually important
It
information.
is important.
that
We've
needs to
already
be
gone through
discussed.
this.
The matter is settled,
The matt'll settle on that, okay?
but
While we're talking about it though, I wanna
Okay.
draw the attention of the commissioners to, the New Hampshire Code of Administrative Rules. And,
Okay,
well,
again,
wait a minute, what section?
500,
go ahead.
and specifically 500.24,
Oh, yes,
responsibility of water system owners, okay? Then we're gonna go to A4. And it says that it's your responsibility to ensure that the operating personnel making process control decisions about water quality or quantity is a certified operator
you
with an
are.
active,
You are,
I know I am.
right.
But you gave me directive last week without any consulting with me as to how we're gonna operate
Okay.
Porter Well.
We're not getting into personnel policies.
And it clearly states here that operations, that's my responsibility.
Okay,
So what I'd like to
okay,
discuss.
your concern is duly
Duly
noted.
noted.
It's 50 what?
It's 502.24,
502.
A4.
Fine. We'll review it and we'll get back to you. I'm afraid, there are issues beyond this that have to be explored. Thank you for your input. We'll investigate and take a look.
Discussion of capital items, I think that's it, correct?
Yeah.
But you gave me directive.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
You gave me directive.
Okay, let me say this
That
again.
was put in a memorandum.
Let me make this clear. You're out of order. As I said before, we got your technical expertise on this, and I said this last time, you're neither a resident nor a ratepayer. So you don't have a right to speak up here.
But I am the certified
But-
operator.
You are the certified
You
operator.
just
and if
signed a
you-
letter that is gonna put
You
me
know
in
what?
charge of the distribution.
We're not holding that discussion. This is not your personal circus here, okay? We're moving on.
Okay.
Thank you. So printer costs, next on the list.
But Bob, you gave me directive.
Enough,
in
enough.
regards to this topic.
Enough.
Well, it's not enough. I need to make sure that.
No, No,
You
you
put.
wanna make a meeting with us, we'll do that. We'll have a personal meeting with you.
We're in a meeting right now.
Where,
No, we're gonna
No,
have
we're
a
not.
personnel, PERSONNEL meeting,
okay,
not a public meeting. Okay?
next item on the list.
I don't believe discussing, operations of our
No.
system needs to be done. in a
Listen,
personnel meeting.
you've been told repeatedly.
Okay.
Go ahead, next item on the list.
This is a small thing. We're not gonna recognize you, Frank, so put your hand down.
So you want to answer questions?
No, we
No.
won't. Put your arm down.
Thank you.
All right, move along.
Printers, apparently we're spending an awful lot on printer ink for the inkjet. And, I mean, we went through an entire cartridge set in 1 month. It's been, this is common knowledge that inkjets are god-awful expensive per page. What are we printing that used up an entire set of cartridges in 1 month? Does anyone know?
Paperwork?
Huh?
Necessary paperwork? Like, not sure how specifically
In
we get
that
there.
much color?
Not generally, it's stuck on color, we haven't actually changed it to black and white.
Well, we may want to stop using the inkjet printer and start using the laser because it can do color as well. And it's a lot cheaper per page to do color laser than it is inkjet. It's like, it's old technology, it's really designed for home use. It's really not designed for office work. So I'm gonna suggest we stop using the inkjet, mothball it. Alright. Is there anything else the commissioners wish to discuss?
Anything else? No?
I'll make our next meeting, the 24th?
Of this
Wait.
month?
Guys,
Yes.
question real quick.
Yeah.
Only because it's billing in 2 weeks, how do you want me to print out the billing paperwork, the actual bills in 2
It
weeks?
should go through that laser printer sleeve. Are you telling, no, the
We'll try
bills
it.
go through the laser printer. They do.
Okay, we'll try it. I'm just asking.
Are you telling
If
me?
you have a problem with this, just give us a call.
Fair enough.
Are you saying,
No, that's fair.
If
Well-
I do, I don't know. I will try it. If I have an issue, I will call you guys.
Okay.
I have my bill right here. Right here. This one got mangled by the post office.
That was that cheap stuff we got, right?
That was done on a laser, it doesn't smear.
It comes to the white printer. All of them come to the white printer. 'Cause it's
The white
faster.
printer is the laser printer.
That's what I've been using.
Well, then there should be no problem with bills. The black inkjet printer that's off in the corner,
That's not mine.
well, I know it's
No idea
not
which
yours,
one.
but the one that's in the corner, the black HP, that's an inkjet printer.
Okay.
And it's god awful expensive to run, that's what I'm saying.
This one's, okay.
It'll go through the laser printer, no problem.
Right, okay. Sure.
What are we picking?
Try a sample run, and if it doesn't work, I'll bring you a printer that will.
The white one works just fine.
Okay, well,
it'll
that's the
fine.
laser printer,
Okay.
and it's capable of doing. All right, the 24th, which is 2 weeks hence,
Okay.
here, I've already reserved the room.
$6:30 again?
6:30 again. Although I understand there's some discussion maybe moving up the time to like 5:30 or,
It'd be easier, people coming out of work. A lot of people wanna be here early. It'd be easier. How do you feel?
do you
about
wanna
it?
change it now?
How do you feel about it?
Makes no difference to me.
We leave it at 6:30.
All right. 6:30 for now. Is there any other matter which may properly come before this meeting for us?
None that I'm aware of.
I motion to adjourn.
Second, call?
You wanna allow comments?
No, the last couple of times we've had comments, it's been nothing but an argument session.
Right.
All right, thank you very much.
We are adjourned.
We're adjourned.
And nothing but what?
Argument session.
The meeting is adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned.
Good night.
Well, I would
See you on
like
the
to submit
24th.
to you my letter regarding the hostile work environment and hostile district environment. I'm going to submit it to you since you refused to let me speak. It's yours. I'm going to publish it as well.
I'll do the same on behalf of Ray McNeil.
I need you to
This is a
sign it.
letter from the, to the commissioners in
You
response
need
to
to
your
sign it,
letter.
otherwise it's just random. And I have no idea who this is from.
Especially from you.
Let's go.
Who's it from?
From me.
Oh, from you?
Well, I don't have an opportunity to talk, so.
Fine.
Okay.
So, for those who are members of the Legion, the bar is open.
Oh, here, check, sign
Oh,
Okay, man.
he's the same one.
There's.
Hard life.
I know. I want to know what the 68.99 was for. All the professional services. They get hookers.
And blow.
From now on, he wants you to bring
I
up
wish it was.
meetings,
It's like
otherwise. Then if you can only do every 2 weeks.
It's always fun.
Can we vote just to get rid of it?
It's not a big.
Well, I mean, I prefer to, I don't know, I like those. I'd rather.
Hey, we're gonna save $1 with the printing now.